Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Storm of Swords, chapters 63, 64, and 65. Davos, Jon, and Arya. In these chapters, the smuggler smuggles, the watcher watches, and the child adults. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmit, who died in these chapters?
Oh my god, there was a lot of deaths.
Just give me, like, main man.
Okay, let me think.
names.
Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, in Davos's chapter... Okay, shh! I'm gonna speak while I'm thinking. Okay, in Davos's chapter, I don't remember any specific deaths. Yeah, I don't think so. Wait. No.
Yeah, I don't think anybody...
Yeah,
well,
okay.
they found out about Joffrey dying. Davos is probably gonna die, but no certain deaths yet.
Yeah. And then in Jon's chapter, we had several deaths. We had...
There's only real one of note, though.
Donald Noy.
Yeah, there you go.
And
That's
then,
it.
like, the couple people who went
Oh,
with
no,
him.
one more.
And then... Oh, that Mad, I think?
Meg?
Yeah, the king of
giant.
the giants.
Yeah.
The king of the giants. And then just people who were caught in the crossfire, rip. And then a bunch of mammoths and stuff. And then that was mainly it for the deaths for that. And then in Arya's chapter... No?
Well, she gets a confirmation of Catelyn's death.
Right, yes.
And
I think
the
that's
poor,
it.
that little girl's doll dies. Sir Soldier, she calls it. The hound's hopes of ever ransoming Arya.
Please. Yeah, a lot
Arya's hopes of ever finding somewhere, someplace for herself.
Arya's chapter, I was like, oh, Arya's dead, and now I'm kind of like, she's back, but it's like, do we ever get out of this, like, Arya's chapters being depressing hole? Like, I just, like,
So
what
you
do
were
we
like,
ever get?
you were better off when you were dead? No?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that because I was so busy mourning her death, I had forgotten how depressing her chapters were.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of like, maybe we can progress one day.
Well, she sometimes has fun chapters. Like, sometimes she encounters magic assassins who grant death wishes,
Yeah, that was a while ago.
It's fair, yeah. Or she runs into the Brotherhood without banners and they battle it out with the Hound. That was fun.
That was cool. Okay,
or she meets, like,
Yeah. She did have fun chapters.
Yeah.
She did have some fun chapters. Okay, I gotta give her credit.
Like, it's just her entire overall journey is really depressing.
Yeah, but she does have some fun stops along the way. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta give her some credit. That's valid.
All right. What did you think of these? So, Arya's, you were obviously depressing. What did you think of the other two?
These were nice. I liked the action. I enjoyed it.
You did. I gotta be so honest. Jon's chapter made me so sleepy. Now, I was
so
reading it on a
funny.
bus ride, so, like, buses already lull you to sleep. And this was like, whew.
Yeah, but it's, Jon's chapter was interesting, because there was the Jon fangirl in me that was like, slay, and I was just, like, so proud of him, and I was just like, go off. But then there was a part of me that was
on
like,
fire.
No, but then there was a part of me that was like, wow, like, maybe we need to do something about these beliefs, and, like, why are you just spewing hatred? But then he'd, like, do something, and, like, he'd be, like, crowned, like, Lord Commander. And I'd be like, oh, okay, but Jon, you know? So that, I could not fall asleep during that chapter, because I was, like, rooting for my man, but then I was also just like, you need to chill a little, you know?
Right.
But I was still, like, overall, I would say that I was proud of him. Because I think in this chapter, like, there was nothing else they could do but fight, and fight he did, you know?
Yeah.
So,
what about Davos?
And then Davos's chapter, okay, weird. Davos's chapter, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's the people pleaser in me, but I think that I'm beginning to not like Stannis, but find an appreciation for Stannis, and I don't know
People
if
are
it's
gonna be so happy.
but I don't know if it's Davos rubbing off on me, or if it's just like hearing everyone else's, like, I kind of like Stannis, and being like, okay, why do I hate him so much for no reason? Like, why am I just mean to him? So I think it's a little bit of both, because just Davos is so obsessed with him that after a while you just kind of, like, start listening to him a little. I'm not saying that I like Stannis or want him to lead. I'm just saying that before I was like, oh, if Stannis leads, I'm gonna, like, off myself off a bridge. But, like, I'm just like, you know, Stannis is Stannis, and that's my take on it now.
All right.
So these chapters were an interesting journey to self-discovery.
Interesting, given, like, the choice that he was about to make, but okay.
No, right? It's weird, but I will explain as we go through the chapter.
All right, why don't you summarize the chapters first?
Oh no, okay, this is gonna go really badly.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Davos has a plan. He's gonna get Edric out of here. He has teammates. They're doing a little sun goes down praying ritual, so eyes aren't on him right now. He successfully gets Edric on a boat, and then they're gonna go to ship and across the ocean, whatever. And then he tells Melisandre and Stannis, and Melisandre did not see this coming, and Stannis is like, the fuck, you couldn't have been loyal. And then he's kind of advocating for it, and then he finally he starts reading the letter from the Night's Watch, and then the chapter ends. I think that's...
Switch.
Oh, wow, that was perfectly timed. Oh, okay, wait, restart my time. Wait, who is it? Jon. Okay, Jon, okay, so 2 horns, free folk are here, fight starts, but it's the dead of night, so they're kind of just launching arrows and catapults into, you know, whatever, just, like, into the darkness, basically, but they're all ready, they got their supplies, they're ready. Donalnoy's gonna go defend the one passageway, which is what they're really trying to get to. Like, everything else is just kind of a distraction, and Jon's now in charge, and then eventually they're able to kind of hold up a bit, and then it's the day, and then they're able to...
Switch.
Arya is traveling with the Hound. Hound is really trying to find ways to ransom her off, and it's just not working. He's like, okay, your mom's dead. Maybe we can go to Lysa, and to which the audience is like, the fuck? But, you know, he doesn't know that. He's like, that's where we're gonna go. And then he counter like a village, and they're like, oh wait, JK, mountain men, how are we gonna get there? All this. These people are offering us a place to stay, let's just stay here, whatever. But then they kick them out after the work is done, and they're like, okay, here's some money, bye.
Cool. Other than the first one where you started celebrating too early, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you were like, oh, I got that. And then you, like, went
completely
like 10 seconds into Jon's time. But I gave you extra time.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. I got too excited about the first one, and then the other ones went downhill.
It's fine. Okay, so let's talk about them in detail, I guess. Davos is watching Melisandre and her peeps praying, and they're just like, oh, the Lord of Light, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you for another blessed day, love.
Yeah.
Don't know why they're British.
Stannis is with them, but he is not of them, Davos thought.
Oh.
Like, we get it, Davos. We get it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I still love Davos. I'm just tired.
I know. He's just, like, he is relentless with his life.
No, not tired of him.
Like
I'm tired due to life and brain tired because I've had a really busy few weeks. Words.
Yeah, but he's basically talking about how, like, the support for them is going down. Like, there's less people praying than there were yesterday.
But he's also like, maybe tomorrow there will be more now that they'll know that Joffrey's dead. And he's also thinking about his plan, which we don't know yet. But he's thinking about how, like, Sir Axel Florent might be really happy to hear about that plan because it would make him hand because I will be dead. And he's praying to the mother to keep his son safe, which I was like, wait, hang on. Is he concerned about his son's safety given what he's doing? I guess it makes sense, but I also feel like he himself has so much faith in Stannis that Stannis wouldn't do something like that. But then again, Stannis was just about to burn a kid, so
yeah. But I think
but
I think he also knows with Melisandre's powers, like she could do something and then be like, "Oh, I think he just slipped and fell," you know? Because he specifically says, "Keep my son Devon safe from the Red Woman's demon god." So I think he's more worried about her making something happen rather than Stannis like taking it out on Devon.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, he's got his little gang of people. I think these are the people that were calling themselves the King's Men, right? So he's gathered supporters that are behind him and not Melisandre. And he's like thinking about how he was speaking to Melisandre about people reading the fire, and she's like, it takes decades to learn. And he asks her how it was that Sir Axel had learned the trick so quickly, and she replies, any cat may stare into a fire and see red mice at play. So even she knows this guy's bullshit.
Yeah, but what did he even say that he saw?
I don't know, the doom or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, he was just trying to get in on the action, being like, I saw it too.
Yeah, like the darkness is coming and Stannis is our safe, like whatever.
Right,
probably.
Right, okay.
I don't actually know if that's exactly what he said, but it was something along those lines. Okay. I'm pretty sure.
I respect Melisandre for this. I feel like she tells it how she thinks it is, and nothing less. You know,
I don't think like she is a straight up liar. She just has some real messed up beliefs.
Yeah. But I respect her, like, this is what's up, you know?
Yeah. And then he thinks back to how they were planning this whole thing and how some of his fellow Kingsmen suggested that, like, they get rid of Melisandre as the first thing they do because then it would make everything else easier. But Davos has figured out the trick. He's like, she is really quick to sense any threat to her own person, but surely she can't see everything. So if we ignore her, we might escape her notice. And this is exactly what happens. So Davos knows.
It's like a weird thing. This is a weird comparison, but what it really reminded me of was like in Twilight when like Edward's sister like can't see what's going on because the plan was like, because she can see like people's intentions or like the future or whatever, but she couldn't
because it's a spontaneous plan or something.
Exactly.
Right.
So she couldn't like figure out what was going on because it wasn't planned.
Right.
And it just reminded me of like
plot convenience.
Yeah. Like, oh, if it's just not like a super obvious prophecy that she hasn't been thinking about and figured out all the ins and outs of, we'll be fine. It's like, okay, but I feel like she could have. Like, I don't know. But we'll talk more about that later. I have more thoughts.
But maybe now she'll, like, maybe she was so focused on, like, Stannis and seeing him and the other in the flames that she didn't, like, look at the kid. I don't know. Either way, it worked. That's the point. Some of the dudes that Davos is working with were, like, hesitant about the sneaking around, and they're like, that's not the honorable way to do this. And Davos is like, oh, would you rather be honorable burning on a pyre?
Valid.
Yeah, like, dude, are you with me or not? I need smugglers, not men of honor. And clearly they agree. So they go and get Edric now. So had you figured out what was going on by this point? Yeah, so they're getting Edric, and Maester Pylos is also in on it. So good for him, honestly.
This was respect. Go off.
Yeah.
But it makes, honestly, I like it though, because I feel like Like, we've seen, oh my god, what's the maester at Pycelle? The one we hate?
Yeah.
Okay, Pycelle. Like, I feel like, I don't know, just, like, we've seen that maester, and then we have seen, like, what was the other maester? Crescent?
Aemon.
We saw Crescent, who was good. We saw Aemon, who was good. But I feel like Maester Pycelle has just, like, messed up my entire image of maesters. So it's just nice to see, like, you know, they, like, he's learned, like, the 7 and, like, practiced that his whole life. So it's just nice to see, like, people stick into what they've actually learned instead of just this random stranger comes in and suddenly everyone wants to do something different. Like, I don't know. It was just nice. It was just nice to see that there's, like, people who
not
actually
that,
stick
like,
to that.
broadening your views is a bad thing. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, but I feel like if you, like... Yeah,
I am just glad he's against burning children, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still don't think it's, like, you can't just change your entire perception of everything because someone comes in and tells you that it's better to do this way.
Yeah, but see, it's the reason I say that is because I have had experiences where I've gone and learned a new perspective and then been like, oh shit, what I was taught was bullshit. So...
Yeah, but is Melisandre's perspective really that? Is it really a new way?
No,
Is
that's what I'm saying.
Way?
Like, in this, it may not be the, like, okay, I'm just...
Yeah, but I'm
just saying that we're not saying it's bad to change your views. We're just saying...
Yeah. In this specific context, I think it would be bad to change your views because there's not a... it's just different, like, I think it depends on who it is, but if your job is literally a religious job, I feel like...
Is his job a religious job? His job is like a scholarly job.
But isn't he also kind of like...
No, those are the septons.
Oh, I'm mixing them up. Okay, fair. I'm mixing them up. I'm fully mixing them up. I was like, that's what I was trying to say. I was like, if you're literally the septon, and at the first sign of someone introducing a different religion, you're gonna switch ship? Like, does that mean you're that good at your job? Like, okay, I'm definitely mixing them up. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I feel like you were arguing something that you didn't really believe.
What do you mean?
Like, you were, like, sticking to the, oh, he shouldn't change his views thing. Like,
well, yeah, that's
too staunchly, because you thought he was a septon.
Because I thought it was a septon. Like, not that I don't think he should change his views, I just think he shouldn't change his views as quickly as everyone else did. Like, I think it's, like, obviously a lot of these residents might not be big into religion. Like, we know Davos isn't, and Stannis isn't. So it makes sense to me that they'd be like, okay, maybe I can consider, like, this super easily, but to me... Right.
Although I would say Davos is kind of, like, dedicated religiously, and also he's a real, like, superstitious person. He's always talking about his luck and stuff. But Stannis definitely has that speech where he's like, none of these religions served me, so I'm gonna go find me a new bird now.
Like, I know he's super spiritual, but
he's always like praying to the mother and the warrior and all that. I don't know what's religion.
I thought he was just doing that out of, like, because I feel like at the beginning he was always like, I don't really, like, believe in the gods, but that doesn't mean I think it's right to take them all down. Like, I don't know why I remember it that way. Like, I thought he was just always very,
That's not the impression I have. I have the impression, yeah. I feel like he's like, yeah, my gods are cool, and, like, sure, your god exists, but, like, that doesn't mean that my gods are nothing.
Right.
Okay. Let's not get into religion. My brain's too tired for this. Okay.
Anyway, a septon is not a maester.
No, that is the moral of the story.
Yeah. Okay. Then
basically,
that's fine.
Crescent's in with it. They convince Edric, and Edric's like a little hesitant. He's like, I want to see my uncle, but Davos has to be like, he pulls out the fingers and is like, see what Stannis did when he was angry. He's trying to spin the story and scare the kid, and it works.
Poor kid
goes with them. They put him on a boat. It's called Mad Prendos for a he says a ship named after a madman. Yes, that's fitting because Salvador San has a pirate's humor. So anyway, they get the kid on a boat, and there's this guy named Sir Andrew. Is that his name? Wait, that can't be right. That's so basic.
I think it is.
Huh.
He's like
okay.
one of one of the random lord dudes.
Yeah, he's an Estermont. So anyway, basically he's related to this kid. I think the way he's related to this kid is through, okay, so like Stannis's mother was an Estermont. So was Robert's mother. So Robert's kid is the Estermont's cousin somehow, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Either way.
I think he says, like, hey, cousin, you're with me at one point, so that makes sense.
Yeah. No, maybe not like first cousin, but related.
Yeah.
He's going with him, and there's a bunch of other people who also hop on that boat. So there's a bunch of people going. We don't know where. I don't know if Davos even knows where. Maybe he was just like, find a place and don't tell me in case they try to torture it out of me or something.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And, oh yeah, in this process, there's like a couple of guards that they've got tied down, and Davos is like, oh, tie them up and then free them when Edric's safely underway.
We love Davos.
Yes, but also why didn't they knock these guards out? Because now they know exactly everyone who was involved in the plan and is still in the castle.
Yeah, that's true. I think they just weren't thinking that far ahead. They were just
like I get Davos means to take the blame. I didn't doubt for a second that he wouldn't tell Stannis exactly what he did. But I don't know if he should be like dragging all these other people who helped him along down with him.
Yeah, I think they just didn't think that far.
Yeah, and they did all this while everybody was out praying, because that takes like hours or something. So love that. And now he starts his walk to the room with the painted table, and he's just reflecting on all things like, oh, I hope these stone dragons never awake, and I should never have been had. I rose like too high, and I don't like it.
God. Ugh, I can't.
Yeah.
I know that this, I feel like I say this all the time, but I just feel the need to. I understand that you can't take bits and pieces of a person. Like, this is who Davos is. And, like, this is, you know, in a way it contributes to him being a selfless,
he's like a little
and really
too humble.
good person. Yeah, like, it contributes to him being a good person and the parts that we like about him. But I just wish, like, just a little more self-confidence and, like, self-worth. Just a little. Like, not too much, but, like, a little. Like, a healthy amount, you know? I feel like he could still be a good person with that. But I
think he has a good amount of self-respect, but not a good amount of, like, ambition.
I don't know if he has that much self-respect. I think he's constantly badgering himself and constantly, like, I am nothing but what Stannis has done for me, but what my kids, like, my kids
okay,
make me good.
That's
you know
a fair
what I mean?
point.
Like,
I don't know how I get, like, this sense of, like...
He still understands a little bit. Like, I've gotten this far. Like, I can do something.
Like, for somebody to pull off a plan this ballsy, like, you've kind of gotta...
But I think that's just his...
Know your capacity. But he was like, oh, the mother led my hand in this or something.
Yeah. I think it's almost like he's so loyal to the cause and to what he believes he should do that it's not
he
even
overcomes
like
his
I don't think it's like I can do this. I think it's like I must find a way to do this because it is the only way in which I can serve. Which I don't like the last part, but I like the first part. You know what I mean? But it's like, how do you... I can't say I only want certain parts of him, but I just wish he had a little bit more confidence, is all.
Yeah. Anyway, he gets to the room with the painted table. He opens up a bunch of the windows. He looks out towards the sea. It's dark, so he can't see anything. And yeah, he's hoping that the galley's gotten away. And
there was a little quote in here. As a boy, he dreamed of riches, but that was long ago. Later, grown, all he had wanted was a few acres of good land, a hall to grow old in, a better life for his sons. And that made me really emotional. I was like, oh my god. And it just, I don't know, it just felt very real. I was just like, that's it. You know, you're born or whatever, and then you're like, oh my god, like, maybe I'm gonna, like, change
you
the
start
world
dying
and, like,
the
discover
day
something.
you're born. Yeah.
You start dying the day you're born. No, like,
Yeah.
you know, oh my god, I guess you do, but...
Anyway, let's move on. So, Davos is waiting in that room as Melisandre and Stannis approach. And they're already talking about 2 is not 3, 3 is 3, that whole thing. And Melisandre says that she's seen Joffrey die and heard his mother's wail. And Stannis is like, come to me when you have real proof. And then Davos is like, I have your proof right here. The dude is dead. And immediately Melisandre is like, see, 3 is 3. And Stannis is like, shut up, I can count. And he's like thinking about the whole, like, they're talking about like how it could have been, and Davos shares that it was maybe Tyrion who poisoned him. And Stannis is like, he tells this story about Joffrey, quite horrifying, about how he cut up a cat's belly to see if she had any kittens in her, because he wanted the kittens, and then he brought the kittens to Robert, and Robert hit him so hard I thought he'd killed him. Nothing in this story is good. Just nothing.
Yeah. It starts off terrible. It's like...
It just keeps getting bad and worse.
It just keeps getting worse. It's like nature, bad. Nurture, even worse. And it's like they're both just trying to top each other.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's like he was already just like terrible, and then it's just like everything was just enabling him and making him worse. And like, yeah. I don't like the way Stannis said it, like the way he was like, oh, like that wretched Joffrey. But like, I can see where he's coming from. Yeah,
he's like, well, whoever killed him served the kingdom well. And then he goes to say, they must send for me now. Like some delusional... Like, where have you been living, Stannis?
Yeah.
And of course Melisandre's like, no, they're gonna crown Tommen because that's how they be doing things.
Yeah.
And Melisandre's like, yeah, well, there's a way to do things. So 3 is 3, give me the boy. And Davos, of course, is like, Edric Storm. And now Stannis, he frowns on him and is like, I know his stupid name. And I don't like this. But if I must, you know, sacrifice one kid for the good of all the other kids in this kingdom, I have to do that. It's my duty to the realm. I am the king or whatever. And this whole like utilitarian thing that we've already talked to death, so we're not going to get too much into it. Basically, I don't agree with him. But, and neither does Davos, obviously. And Davos has changed it so that he doesn't have to agree with him. No, hang on, that's not what he did. I lost my sentence.
I don't know what you just said.
No, what did Davos do? Davos smuggled the kid out, so now Stannis doesn't have to make the bad choice. Basically that. Yeah. She's like, give me this boy and I will give you your kingdom. And then Davos is like, he can't. Edric Storm is gone. And Stannis goes to like, oh, who took him from me? Like, who dares do this? But Melisandre, like, first there's shock on her face. And Davos is like really satisfied to see that she didn't see this coming.
He's like, oh, she really didn't know.
Yeah, but then when Stannis like starts reaching for other people to blame, she's like, this is your hands doing. And Davos is like, yeah, I can't bring him back because he's out of my reach and your reach. And Stannis is like, did you have to do this? And he sounds more tired than angry.
Yeah. And I know that he's like, ugh, is there any other way? But I still feel like he still might not have. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's still possible that he, like, let's say Edric let's say Davos's whole plan hadn't happened, I just feel like with this whole before and after of him finding out Edric is no longer an option of, like, pursuing this whole thing, I still feel like there's a chance that he wouldn't have done it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really know. And he does talk about, like, how sacrifice has to be difficult, otherwise it's no sacrifice at all.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely on the fence, and I think internally he's probably a little bit glad that
have to
make that choice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes I wish somebody would just take away choices. Like, menus can be so much shorter, but then they tend to be, like, non-inclusive of non-traditional diets, so I guess no. But, like, I am such an indecisive person. I don't want a billion decisions.
Please.
Yeah. So Davos's whole argument is, like, I swore to you when you made me hand that I would protect this realm and its people. And by protecting Edric Storm, I protected a people of this, a person of this realm. And they're going back and forth a little bit. And Davos at one point is like, I know I don't know a lot of things, but I know that a king protects his people or he is no king at all. And I was like, damn.
Damn.
Yeah.
And Melisandre's like, he has the power of king's blood in his veins. I need the boy. I don't know why she sounds like that. But
yeah. All right. Yeah, but Davos is like, fine, if you think I did wrong, you can take my head, but hear what I have to say first. And he pulls out this piece of paper. You said that this is the letter from the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
And I say we don't know that because it doesn't say that.
I'm saying that's my prediction.
Okay.
I put my prediction into my summary. I made it biased. Oh
no. So yeah, he pulls out this paper and he's like, this is all the shield I have, which reminded me of, like, Ned Stark and his paper shield. And I was like, ooh, that didn't work out for Ned. I don't know if it's going to work out for you.
What was his paper shield?
Where it was like, oh, Robert made me regent.
Oh, I forgot about that pathetic scene.
And then Cersei just ripped it up because, like, it's paper.
Yeah. It's not like anyone on that page is gonna advocate for you in front of me. Oh, please, I forgot about that. That's so sad.
Yeah. Anyway, so he starts reading this letter, and we don't know what it is. You think it's the letter from the Night's Watch. How will that letter save him from this situation?
I'm not 100% sure, but my thoughts on the situation are kind of like, maybe it, because the letter is like, hey, like, we have, like, this whatever is going on, but I don't know, maybe it's like, oh, like, if we support the Night's Watch, like, they'll back you for king, or like how Melisandre is like,
but the Night's Watch isn't allowed to take sides.
Yeah, but maybe they will, since this is the only king who can now come to their rescue other than Tommen. Like, maybe it's like, maybe that's the terms of helping them. Like, yes, the Night's Watch doesn't take sides, but the situation is so bad that
maybe Stannis has, like, reason to back them without expecting their support.
Yeah, I guess. Like, yeah.
Like, if he's fighting the battle against the Great Other, and there's these others up in the north that are attacking, isn't that worth...
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
But, like...
I'm just speeding us along.
I'm just giving different options. Like, first...
I don't want different options. I just said I don't want options. Literally.
Okay, well, I love options, and I love choice sometimes. Okay, so there's that. And then, like you said, like, this is literally everything that Melisandre has been talking about. So maybe it's kind of...
Wait. I just want to clarify. I am pro-choice. Moving on. I'm just not pro-decisions, personally.
Oh my god. Okay.
Because I was like, I don't want to... everything we say
your
today...
words out of
context, yeah.
Yeah, but, okay, maybe... I feel like Okay, I just feel like
because I heard myself say I don't want choice, and then I was like, wait a second,
yeah,
I want options.
Like
I want choice.
Yeah, but I feel like people know what you mean.
Okay, I know, but I'm in my weird.
In your mind, you have to defend everything, or else it's like they're gonna only listen to that.
You
one
know
part
the kind of people I have been talking to these last weeks,
fair.
And the kinds
you know
of
what?
stuff
fair.
I've been doing.
The kind of defenses you have to put up.
Yeah, my brain is fried.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I just feel like we have generally a nice listener base who are gonna understand what you mean.
I think we should just have like a general statement that we're like, if you have any questions about our values, go refer to this. You know what? That's actually
right.
Okay. Archive that for
Note
later.
to self?
Yeah.
Note to self. No, I know what you mean, because sometimes I'll say something and I'll be like, I hope they, whatever.
Yeah, like don't take the bullshit that comes out of our mouth at face value. Like,
yeah, like there's like a basis of who we are, and then like, and I feel like this is just a general internet disclaimer. Like context, like if I put a post up,
all opinions are not really our own.
No, not that, but it's like opinions are more than 150 characters is basically the disclaimer. Like, you need to put the person's opinion into context,
I know.
And yeah, so before you, like, just a general disclaimer, I guess, now that I'm saying this, I've already halfway said it, but if you're ever like, oh, that doesn't feel like something they mean, like, a great example of this is when Nuv was like,
I don't want options.
No. A great example was when Nuv was like, I support cults. And we knew what Nuv meant because Nuv is Nuv. But if somebody had never listened to any episode and they come on and they just hear Nuv say, I support cults, like, they don't...
I think what I said was I'm all for cults, actually.
Whatever. Okay, sorry. Sorry for taking your words out of context after telling people not to take your words out of context. But yeah, basically, like, if you ever hear something like that, like, you have, figure out if there's context, and if it's not readily available, don't just assume the worst. Because I feel like that's all we do on the internet, is we assume the worst, and then shit goes downhill and goes worse. Anyway, that's my PSA.
Okay, wait, back to the options that we were giving. Okay.
We are pro-choice, we just are indecisive.
Yes.
And we don't support cults.
Which is why
community.
We support informed choice, because the information helps you be less indecisive. Okay, so what are we talking about? Okay,
about
predictions.
Okay,
so it's a letter for the Night's Watch, and it'll get him out either because the Night's Watch will support Stannis, or because this is like his overall mission, and that's
because I went back to the last Davos chapter where we got the letter, and it wasn't because the chapter ended with him reading the letter, so it wasn't like, oh, he put the letter away, or he put the letter in his pocket for later. So I do think it could be the letter, because, like I said, the chapter ends before the reading's even done. And second thing, I feel like it could also just be, like, when he was reading the letter, he talked to the Maester, and the Maester was like, oh, did you, like, show Stannis this? Did you show Melisandre this? And neither of them had seen it yet, so that also makes sense. Because I feel like you said, like, Stannis is very, like, righteous, and, like, I'm gonna do what's right, and, like, he understands... I feel like he would understand the threat that they're under. And I feel like Melisandre, if everything she's saying is as honest as I'm giving her credit for, she should definitely understand the threat. So I think it's just kind of like a, hey, let's change our priorities. But the only part of that doesn't make sense to me, though, is that according to Melisandre's thinking, this new problem that Davos is about to present could be solved if Davos hadn't done what he did. Do you know what I mean? In her, so that's the only thing that to me is like,
been
how
nice
do you
to
think
have
this
some
is going to
stone
save
dragons if they were fighting White Walkers?
But I think that's just where Davos's character comes in, where even though this might strengthen the argument against him, I think it's his thing of like, before I die, I need to give you all the information I have. That sort of vibe. It might not be an attempt to save himself. It might be an attempt of, hey, you need to know everything that's going on, whether you want to kill me or not. Right. Like, I'm doing my duty.
So, yes or no, he dies?
No.
Okay, cool.
He's not gonna die.
Where is Edric Storm heading? Will we ever see him again?
Definitely. for some reason in these books, I constantly predict that everyone's going to the east. So he's either going to the east, or he's going to, like, because the Estremont stuff is in the south, right? But the only thing with that is that's kind of predictable, because he left with the Estremont person. So if not that, somewhere in the east. I don't know where, but we do know that Davos
so, like,
has done,
across
like,
the Narrow Sea, then?
I think so. Because we know that Davos
maybe
has done,
the
like,
Free Cities or whatever.
Exactly. Because we know that Davos has a lot of connections there, and, like, Salador Saan has traded all over. So it kind of makes sense. So in that way, it would also make sense if we had a little, like, crossover with, like, Dany or something at some point. But I don't know.
Right.
I also just keep predicting that everyone's going there, so I guess everyone's meeting up in the Narrow Sea.
I think that's it for predictions for that chapter. Like, it's really big predictions, but it's really small number of predictions, right?
I think so, yeah. I think that was kind of the
Let's
basics.
move on to Jon.
Wait, give me 1 second. Because I think I had the only thing I had was... I also kind of had a prediction that, like... Okay. This might be completely bonkers. However... So, the point of using Edric's Storm was King's Blood.
Yes.
And... technically... Stannis is now king.
Yeah.
So Shireen has King's Blood. I'm not saying they're gonna do it, but I'm saying...
Oh, okay.
But all I'm saying, like I said, I know it doesn't really make sense, but I'm just trying to think of other ways, like, who else has King's Blood. Like, I don't think that, like, his wife is gonna be like, yeah, let's kill our own daughter for this cause, or Stannis is gonna be all for it, or anything. I'm just saying... that
the possibility is out there.
Yeah, because like the dude who did Lightbringer, what's his name? Azor Ahai, like the original version of Azor Ahai,
had to kill his own wife. Yeah.
So it's not out of the equation, because I do think that Melisandre is now going to try and, like, because I don't think she's suddenly going to be like,
and Stannis isn't just going to kick her out like, okay, you've gone too far now.
I don't know if he will, and that's not me not being as, like, I just don't know. I just don't know, because I don't think Stannis would do that to his own daughter. I don't think that lowly of Stannis at all.
Okay.
But I also know that I feel like Melisandre wouldn't stop at anything for this cause.
So she might do it in secret, is that what you're saying?
I don't know if that's what I'm saying. I'm just putting the thought out there. She could do it in secret. Maybe she could convince Stannis, but I don't think Stannis would do that. But it's still possible. It's possible that he would. So
it's a very dark thought.
It's a very dark thought, but this is a very dark series, so I'm putting it out there. And then the only other thought I think that I had, the only other thought I've ever had was, okay, I was just thinking about, I guess it is just like, we gotta move the plot along, so it's gotta make sense that Melisandre didn't see this coming, but I'm trying to, like, rationalize it. So I guess, yes, it makes sense that, like, direct threats to her being, because she's probably looked at the flames for her own role in this
I feel like
thing.
it's like her having, like, 5 CCTV cameras, and she can, like, pin them on 5 different aspects. And so she's got one on herself, one on Stannis, you know, one on Joffrey, and, like, whatever. So she can't, like, she doesn't have the capacity to keep one on Edric Storm, so it worked out.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
That's how I see it.
No, I think that makes sense. Because I couldn't really make sense of that. I was just like, maybe it's because she's prophesized about Stannis and not about Edric. Like, it was Edric kind of came as a way to do what she wants to do with the whole Azor Ahai thing. So maybe it was, like, because she didn't specifically prophesize about Edric, he just kind of came about. Like, maybe that was how it happened. I don't know. But yeah, I was just kind of like, really? That makes so much sense that she didn't see this coming? That was
we'll see if this is something, like, now that she'll, like, account for it. Maybe she'll buy some more cameras, or maybe it'll be, like, one of her weaknesses that somebody can exploit in the future.
That would be kind of nice.
Yeah. Okay, Jon?
Yeah.
All right. Fight, die. Moving on. Arya.
Why did I know you were going to say that?
Of course I was going to say that. Okay, we'll talk highlights, okay? Highlights. So he is dreaming. He's He's dreaming about being in Winterfell and not belonging in the crypts because he's not a Stark, because he's a Targaryen. We all get it.
He's
George
had this
R. R.
dream
Martin.
before, except now we have the extended version of the dream with Ygritte's presence and him being on
Oh,
purpose.
except it's not Ygritte, it's Summer.
Oh, yeah.
And he wakes up thinking about how that was definitely Summer in the gift, and now we're like, wait, does he know Bran's alive? Like,
yeah,
he doesn't like elaborate, but he's thinking.
I was gonna ask you about this. I was confused. I was like, did we know that he knew that? What? But then I was like, I guess he kind of recognized the wolf back there, right? He was
I feel like he is like, yeah, that's definitely Bran's wolf, because I don't think he even knew that the wolf was called Summer yet, because he had to leave before Bran named Summer. So he's like, yeah, this is Bran's wolf. So either it means Bran is also around, or it means that the wolf survived. Either way, it's a connection to Bran that I don't have anymore because the wolf is gone. Okay. So, yeah. Then he's thinking about the Horn of Winter and how Mance never found it because they're blowing the horns. And I will restate how it makes no sense that the more the threat it is, the more like blasts it requires. Like it should be 1 blast others, 2 blasts wildlings, 3 blasts friends. Like, what if you only get around to making 1 blast, you know?
Wait, you're so right. I hadn't even thought of that.
I feel like we've talked about this before, or at least in my brain I've like had a conversation with myself about this.
It might be the latter. That makes so much sense. Like, why
I get like everybody would tense at the first one, but then they hear the second and the third and then they would like relax. But it's better than the other way around.
Yeah. Because especially, it's the Night's Watch. Like, you can't be like, oh, we don't want to tense them too much. They're already fucking fighting for their lives, you know?
Yeah.
And that argument doesn't really stand.
No. Anyway, so 2 blasts, wildlings are here. Jon has been he's sleeping, but not really well rested because it's a really tense situation. And now the blast, like, announcing the attack, he has to, like, get up and be on his way, even though he's really injured and feverish and all of those things. Oh, I just so felt for him. This reminded...
Wow.
Yeah. I've literally never been in a battle situation, like a lot of people. But do you remember how I've told you when I'm, like, sick, I start becoming, like, hyper productive for some reason?
Oh, okay.
Haven't you told you, like, just as I'm about to get sick, I'll just
suddenly...
about
to get sick. Okay, I thought you meant, like, during. I was like, I didn't know that, but yeah.
Like, about to get sick, or just, like, on my first day of being sick, I'll just be, like, into hyper, like, doing mode, and then I'll collapse for the next 5 days.
Please.
It's like my body's like, we're not going to be able to get anything done for the next week, so we have to do everything right now. So I was like, I wonder if Jon's like, I'm not gonna be able to do this again later in 2 days, so I better do the fighting now. I don't know.
Please. I mean, kind of, because he keeps being like, oh, like, when is this over? So it might literally be his body being like,
but with him it's a life and death situation. For me, it's usually not always, but not sometimes, but not usually.
I'm trying to figure out these sometimes, and now I'm confused.
It's a joke.
Okay, I thought you were being serious, and I was like,
well,
when?
I'm not life and death, but I've been in some serious situations.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, so he has to wait for the elevator, which was the most relatable experience of all. Like, there's just a bunch of dudes, and then I started picturing them in business suits waiting for the elevator to go up for, like, a serious business meeting or something. Because it takes a while for it to go up and down. And at our university, there's this one elevator that takes literal ages, and I took it like 4 times today. So I was really feeling it when I read this chapter.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so they are waiting around, and he's looking around to see who's here, and there's only a few people from Molestown left because everybody else went home because they were like, fuck this, we're not doing any more of this.
Please.
And, like, there's a couple guys. There's a sex worker named Zay, I think is how you say her name. But she's, like, good with a crossbow. So they're like, good thing we got her. Then they get up on top. It's hard to see anything, but they can tell that somebody's approaching. So they're just, like, loosing arrows into the dark.
They still got their scarecrows with them to make up for the spaces.
Right, of course. And what is happening? Oh yeah, they gotta defend the gate because really that's the only place they can get through. Mm-hmm. And Donald Noy decides to go down and defend it with like a couple other dudes. And the Septon is singing, praying about like, stay their swords and stay their arrows. And Donald Noy is like, any man here stays his sword and I'll chuck his puckered ass right off the stall, starting with you, Septon, which I found really funny. But this guy's, the Septon's a bit of a joke because he's always drunk and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're complaining about how they're supposed to find targets. And Donald Noy's like, just shoot and maybe you'll find some. Like, get on with it. I gotta go downstairs. And John, you have the wall till I return.
Promotion! But, like, also it's kind of like promotion because everybody else is dead or gone, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, you know?
Yeah, it's like you being like, oh, John's gonna inherit Winterfell. And then me being like, that means everybody's dead.
And I was like, oh. I didn't even...
That's not gonna happen, is it?
Please. I'm an autumn child now. And I hate it. I want to go back to summer.
I love I can joke about you to you now. Basically, I'm gonna skip through the fighting, like most of it. Like arrows, pitch,
basically
fire,
Donald Noy never gets back, and John has to stay doing this. But his body's like tiring and like it's not working. Yeah, you know. And every time like he's kind of about to like, he's kind of like, oh my god, I'm so tired. But then he has to be like, nope, this is my job. I need to figure it out. One more
arrow, just one more, and I can do this.
I got it.
And then that's basically how he gets through the entire night.
Yeah.
And then it gets worse because now it's day and they can see exactly what they're facing and everybody's shitting themselves.
Yeah.
And John's like also shitting himself, but he realizes that if they like get scared now, there's no defending. Like there's no getting back to it. Yeah. So this is like his leader moment, like, you know.
This was so beautiful. I felt so proud. I was like, oh my god, go off.
He does like a rally call or whatchamacallit, like what the coach does in the locker room before the
pep talk. And
pep talk. Thank you.
Just like a little pep talk, a little empowerment speech. He's like, you are
and
going gets
people
to make those
laughing
threes.
And cheering, and it's good. Yeah. If anybody wants to read it, it's in the book.
It's so good. But there's also, it's like outwardly he's presenting this way, and I think part of it is also just like, there's almost a little bit of manic to it because he's in so much pain, and they've been doing this for so many hours that like this isn't just like John. This is like a different heightened, like this is such an adrenaline.
This is adrenaline, John.
Yeah. Like this is like these are not these people, right? So I think obviously a lot of that laughter is also just that where it's like the situation.
Oh,
is
it's the nerves, 100%.
But I think, but then within that, there's like these moments of realism, I guess, where he's like, oh shit, you know? But then it's like, then the adrenaline kicks in and then he's just like, haha, we can do it. Look, the giant's falling. Isn't that funny? You know? It's like a weird, they go in between that and like just like the mania, and it's a lot. It's a lot to read.
Yeah. So now that they can see their targets, they can like really target their attacks.
Yeah, but the whole thing with this, I was just so worried about like, because I know that they stocked up, but they only have so much. And the entire chapter, I was just waiting for him to be like, oh, we ran out of arrows.
In this chapter and previously, he talks about how they have a lot of like weaponry and equipment. They just don't have anybody to use it.
Oh, so we don't have, that's not really
Yeah, he talks about how, what's his face? the guy who's
the
in
armor
charge.
Dude, or
no, the
Bowen
steward.
Marsh.
Bowen Marsh left them well stocked in everything except men.
Okay, I just was paranoid about that the entire time.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Because they wasted so much over the night too. Where like, I feel like eventually it's like they could just back up, but they couldn't see them. So eventually they're just throwing things into the ground. Like I'm just thinking about how much like they cleared that entire like half a mile or whatever it was between the wall and where the whole like
right. Like, yeah, when they were shooting arrows in the dark, that definitely, like, the rate of wastage was high, but they stopped them, and not that they can target exactly where they're going to shoot. They're waiting until, so the free folk have actually got a bunch of giants pulling a ram that they're going to bring to break the gate. And so they're targeting that group specifically, and there's, like, one of the mammoths gets lit on fire or dies or something, and then the others start running away. There's just chaos, basically. And finally, they retreat. Like, eventually, they retreat. And John's, like, looking around, like, did anybody get hurt? And this one guy called Spareboot, like, pulls out a arrow out of his leg and is like, yeah, they got my leg, but it was the wooden one. And then everybody cheers.
Oh my god.
It's like a great moment.
Please.
And then John's like, okay, he's ready to collapse, and he says, Gren, you have the wall. Me, said Gren. Him, said Pip. It was hard to tell which one of them was more horrified.
Please.
Yeah, but John's basically like, I can't do more, so you just gotta, like, if they come back, fight them off. Mm-hmm. Just keep at it.
Just keep swimming. Just keep winning.
Shooting.
Just keep, I don't know.
Fighting.
Yeah, none of them work.
Okay, anyway, so John and Pip go down the elevator. I'm gonna stop calling it the winch and just call it the elevator. And they open up the gate and go in with Maester Aemon. Now, John, like, thinks about how after the battle with the Thenns, there was a bunch of, like, debris blocking this gate, and they thought about just leaving it so that there was, if anybody got through the tunnel, this would be another barrier. But smartly, Donald Noy was like, no, there's a lot of ways to defend from within the tunnel, and we gotta get access to them. And good thing he did, because
the other ways are not holding up too much.
Nope. So they go in, and I think it was in this chapter that I realized that the tunnel through the wall is not just like a straight shoot through. It's got a bunch of twists and turns. Yeah, like, what?
I didn't know. They were like, oh, we can hide behind this wall and do this. I was like, this is a tunnel. Like, you know, in my mind, I just pictured like a straight through, like tunnel vision tunnel. But
and I think in the show, that's how they portray it too. So that's what it's like in my brain. Okay. But instead, it's just going zigzag through the wall.
Yeah, there was like a lot going on in this tunnel. Like, it was... Yeah, I was confused too. I had to like rethink.
The wall defends itself.
I had to rethink it because then they were like, oh, and every gate has like a little like has like bars and stuff in front of it too. So I had to like imagine
and there's
this
multiple
whole thing
gates
again.
within the tunnel. Yeah, it's not just the one at the other end. Yeah. Anyway, they get to the very second, like not the outer gate, but the gate right inside that gate.
Yeah.
Where like there's a whole bunch of carnage, and it says John found himself envying Maester Aemon his blindness because it's that gory of a scene. Basically they like smash through the outer door, and then one of the giants like pulled the door off the hinges. And I'm not sure like he also pulled apart the bars, I think.
Yeah, I think he like bent them, and then they like just kind of got through for like the first door though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like basically like the first door's defenses are kind of gone because the door's gone.
Yeah, the first door I think they rammed through potentially, and then the giant pulled apart the second door, and it was coming through when Donald Noy and his people fell upon him, and everybody died, and it looks like Donald Noy died last, while by his spine being crushed by the giant, as he himself impaled the giant on his sword. So like they can't even tell who died first, but they both died.
Oh my God.
Like taking each other down. Yeah, it says that the giant wrenched the bars apart. So man.
Lovely.
And John's thinking that was just one giant, and they have hundreds. But also
that was like the leader giant.
Yeah, this is Meg, the king of the giants, and he's also remembering the song where it says, I am the last of the giants. Do you remember that? And I appreciated him like recognizing that this is actually a real loss for this like species of being and the world itself.
Yeah. This was like the one of the few moments of like kind of humanity we got. Like, to be fair to him, you know, you're all jacked up on adrenaline. You're like, I'm fighting for my life, like all of that. But this was a nice moment where he was like, oh shit, I remember Meg.
Yeah, because when he's up on the wall, we forgot to talk about his inner thoughts where he's like, get that, man. This isn't a place for you. Shove off. Like,
yeah, that was disturbing. That was like, can you not? But it was nice that there was like, okay, when he wasn't in that like moment, because you know usually it's like when you have those sorts of thoughts you can kind of self-correct, but I feel like when you're in a life-threatening situation such as like literally fighting, it's kind of like tough. But it was nice to see like, okay, in this moment he actually kind of had a decent thought.
Yeah. Yeah, so then he's like, okay, we gotta get this fixed and block up this section of the tunnel, and somebody's gotta be in charge. And Eamon's like, who? There's literally nobody. You have to be in charge.
Oh my God.
And John's like, what? And Eamon's like, yeah, John, the wall is yours. He says, the wall is yours, Jon Snow. And it's kind of like a momentous statement, you know? Because like Mormont was mentoring him, and then Corn Halfhand chose him, and Donald Noy chose him, and now he's like doing the thing until like other things happen probably, but like for now he's doing the thing. Also, he's not in great condition, so how exactly is he gonna do the thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, get him loaded up on more painkillers. That kind of feels like the only option, you know? If he's got to fight for 20 more hours, like, he better not be feeling the pain the entire time. If he's...
How did you get the 20 more hours?
I don't know.
That's just a random number? Okay.
Yeah, very random. Because, like, I'm assuming, you know, it's not... They're not just gonna be like... The giants aren't gonna be like, oh... Not the giants, like the army or
the free folk,
the free folk aren't gonna be like, oh, we'll give you an hour of rest every 4 hours. It's only fair, you know? Like, I feel like it's probably gonna be a continuous amount of time. I don't know how long though, but
right. I just thought I was like, did I miss like a raven from like Bowen Marsh or something saying like we're 20 hours away? Like, I don't know.
No. Okay, so the whole Bowen Marsh thing. So because they were at like the other gates and stuff, right? Because
he kind of spread himself thin, trying to fend off like the little attacks that the free folk were sending up the wall.
Okay.
So we don't really know when he'll get back, but I think they sent ravens to like Eastwatch and Shadow Tower and all of those places. So hopefully they're on their way, but we don't know. Do you think they'll be able to hold the wall until help arrives? Like, what do you think will happen in this situation here? What's the next progression in this plot?
I have no idea. Like,
I know you don't know, but what do you think?
Why are you bringing this back?
Because you literally referenced it today in Discord.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we should bring it back. I referenced it because I was reminiscing. Yeah,
reminisce in real time. Okay, go ahead.
Because I know, I feel like usually nowadays I do give you predictions, because here are my thoughts, because it's like, I don't see, it's tough to imagine. It would take a lot of plot armor for them to win this. And George R.R. Martin is not a plot armor kind of guy.
Right, but if everybody dies, who's he writing his books on?
Yeah, but I think there's a way for them to lose and not all die. Because I feel like I think that...
Does John die?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Because I think that the famous last words, because I think that the free folk are... I think Mance, especially, the way that he comes across, obviously, like, they have this army, but it's because it's what they need to get through. They're not just gonna be able to get to the wall and negotiate. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a way in which the free folk win, and then are like, because the thing is, the free folk are not dumb. They live beyond the wall. They understand the real threat of the others. Are not incapable. They live beyond the wall. Like, they understand the threat, the real, very real threats that are out there. So I think, unless they absolutely have to, I think they'd want survivors on the wall so we can defend.
Against the actual threat that's coming?
Yeah. But also, like, you know,
But then it won't be like the Night's Watch is in charge. It'll be like Mance Rayder's in charge.
Yeah. So I just don't know how I see that playing out, but I don't see the Night's Watch winning as it currently stands. Like, it's possible.
Like, will Bowen Marsh get here soon or not? Like, part of me is it he doesn't get here and that's why they lose, or he gets here and it's still not enough and they lose? Like, which one is it?
I think if he gets here, there's a chance. But I fear that maybe his party doesn't survive, or only a couple of people are able to come back or something. Like, that's what I'm worried about. I think that if he makes it back, I think it should be enough, because I think that their plan's good, they have the resources, and I feel like they can execute. And I feel like if we get those extra people who are all, because clearly all the people who went with Bowen are, like, actually experienced, or a lot of them are, like, they have more experience.
More experience, definitely, yeah.
So I think if we're able to kind of fend off some of the groups with just these people, I think that with Bowen's party I have more hope. But also, it's like 200,000 people. So, or not people, but like
100,000, yeah.
100,000. So, I just don't know. I keep going in between. I see it playing out in a lot of different ways.
Let's think about something else. So, at one point in this chapter, John wonders where Ghost is, because he's missing his buddy.
Sad.
Where's Ghost?
Man, maybe he's just in the woods. I don't know why.
Okay. All right.
What was he supposed to do? Oh, he was supposed to make it back to the watch, and he didn't. Oh no. I feel like he's okay. Hopefully he's
Maybe
okay.
he just went on a little field trip, a little side quest.
So. I don't know. Maybe he's off, because he would be on this side of the wall, right? He wouldn't be beyond the wall.
He is beyond the wall. That's where John left him.
Oh yeah, because he couldn't take him on the quest.
He couldn't, because Ghost can't climb the wall.
Yeah.
That's why he's on that side of the wall, yeah.
Okay. So maybe I like to think that he's, like, going around and, like, messing up stuff for Mance Rayder, and then, like, going back to hide in the woods, and, like, messing up some stuff, and, like, do you know what I mean? Like, being sneaky.
Okay. Cool. Shall we move on to Arya?
Sure.
Arya, who is definitely alive. Arya.
So confusing, but yes.
It
was just the side of the axe, not the point of the axe. Cut. Save. Wait, what was I trying to say? Spare me your bullshit. I think that's what I was going for. I was about to say cut me some slack, and then I was like, that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for something a lot more aggressive than that.
I'm not going to cut you some slack, George R. R. Martin.
Yeah. Like, spare me your stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So her head hurts. Not as bad as it had at first, but pretty bad. And she's used to it. And at least the lump is going down. So that's how this like starts. And also she's in a very depressive mood, like understandable given all that she is grieving. Her only escape is her dreams, where she dreams that she's Nymeria, and that's great, and we love that. And she's got her own little horse now that she named Craven, because this horse also ran away from the fighting at the twins. Wow. But like in a way, she's like mad at Craven and calling Craven Craven, but she's really calling herself Craven and mad at herself for not going in. And the Hound for not letting her go in. And she's thinking about how the Hound doesn't watch her as closely anymore, doesn't seem to care as much whether she stays or goes, and is like, I'm gonna kill him one day, or maybe I'll just ride away. And she like has these thoughts all the time, but she never actually acts on them, because where is she gonna go? Which is just so sad. I don't want this sad.
I don't like this. I didn't ask for this. When I heard that Arya was alive, this wasn't what I meant. This wasn't what I asked for. And the Hound's
not like super pleased to have her with him, because like she's not worth anything to him. He can't ransom her off. And this is where we get like, I just hit you with the flat of the axe. If I really wanted to hurt you, I could have really hit you and killed you and whatnot.
Oh my.
And then at one point, like they're just wandering through the Riverlands right now, trying to escape notice by the Freys, who are searching the lands for any survivors. Just to make sure. And they run into one of Mark Piper's guys.
Who is Mark Piper?
He's one of Rob's like main dudes. I don't know if he died or is captured. I can't remember.
Oh, that's so sad.
But yeah, Rob's main dudes, and this is one of the main dudes' guys. Yeah, he tells a story of how it was a Bolton who turned on him, and just the whole bullshit of the situation. Like, I don't want to get into details, but you know. Yeah. Basically, he's like, do you got some wine? I would really like to drink away this pain. And the Hound's like, if I had wine, I would be drinking it myself. But I can get you some water, and I can give you the gift of mercy. And this guy is like, I will take you up on both of those offers. So the Hound sends Arya to go fetch some water, and the guy drinks and is like satisfied a little, and then the Hound like slowly stabs him in the heart, and then he turns to Arya and is like, that's how you do that. And Arya's like, I know how to do it. Like,
oh man.
But yeah, and then so they're like, well, there's no point in burying this guy. Let's just take what he's got and leave. So Arya gets his pretty dagger with a pink stone in the hilt, and they get some coins, I think. And Arya also takes his helm. His shoes don't fit either of them, so they leave those. Yeah, that's basically it. So eventually they find themselves in the foothills of the Vale. What did you think of this?
I was so concerned. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, because the Hound plans on taking Arya to the Eyrie, to Lysa, to ransom her there. And yeah, Arya's like not convinced. She's like, we should just go back. I bet my mother's still alive. And we can save her. And the Hound is like, what? Even if your mother is alive, there's no way I can go in there by myself and save her. And Arya's like, no, not by yourself. I'd come too. Which is
oh my god. She's such a like she's such a doer. I feel like being friends with her would be the equivalent of, like, you're like, let's just, like, go, like, sit and, like, read a book. And she'd be like, why would I read the book when I could, like, do the shit in the book, you know? Like, she just, like, cannot sit still. And then it's, like, her trauma response is also just, like, further not sitting still. And she just constantly is trapped in situations where she has to sit still. And it's terrible.
Yeah. Although, if they had ended up going to the Vale and Sansa had somehow ended up there through Littlefinger, that could have been like a reunion, but of course we're not going to get that.
Yeah, but
we know better than to predict reunions now.
Yeah. However, with that, I feel like Littlefinger, it would have been like a 2-second reunion, and then Littlefinger would have been like, oh, well, I can give you to the Lannisters.
No.
And then they won't be mad at me about Sansa, you know? It's not like Lysa cares.
Yeah, but it's not like they know that he took Sansa.
I know, but if he needed to reveal it somehow, and then he could keep her, like, in public.
Yeah, no, like, 2 Stark people in Littlefinger's clutches is definitely worse than 1 Stark person in Littlefinger's clutches, but, you know, you get sentimental Sansa, sometimes.
You like to hope sometimes, yeah. The brief Sansa interaction would have been nice, if possible. And they both could have been like, I'm sorry, I was always mean to you. And then they both could have, like, you know, and it could have been like, even if we're not together, at least there's someone in the world who I love and who loves me. You know what I mean? It's like, at least not all of my family members are dead.
Yeah, because right now they all think the other person's...
Everyone's
I don't
dead.
think Arya thinks Sansa's technically dead, but either way, they don't have each other. So... after arguing with the Hound about going back for her mother, she falls asleep thinking about her mother and dreams of being Nymeria and actually smelling her mother. And Nymeria is on this, like, riverbank, and there's a bunch of bodies floating downriver. We can tell from where, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Nymeria is really focused on this one scent. And finds this body and, like, tries to... there's something like... she tries to, like, shake the arm. But, like, all that greets her is death. And it's just so sad because, like, even in wolf form, Arya's like, Mommy, wake up. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So she drags... Catelyn's body. Like, I don't think I need to be vague about it. We know what this is. She drags Catelyn's body up onto the shore and is kind of looking at it. But, like, you know, like, she's dead and naked, and also her throat is slit, so there's just blood everywhere. And Nymeria is trying to be like, rise and eat and run with us. And it's so sad. I just can't take the fact that even in wolf form, Arya is, like, having these thoughts, you know?
I know. But it was also, like, it was the closure that she needed, you know?
Yeah. Well, no, that's definitely what this is about. This is definitely about the closure. Because... yeah, she hears a bunch of horses and, like, people approaching, and she says, like, they have flapping black and yellow and pink wings, so I guess those are the banners. But, okay, so pink, that sounds like Roose Bolton, right? Mm-hmm. But black and yellow, the only black and yellow house I know of is Baratheon.
Oh.
So, I don't know. Like, obviously they're not, like, there's, who would they, but maybe because, like, Tommen and Joffrey are technically Baratheons, maybe they have to fly the Baratheon flag.
Yeah, but they're not very, like, subtle with that.
But there was no mention of red, and there's never Lannisters around without them either singing the Rains of Castamere or flashing around, like, crimson cloaks or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so some people are approaching. I don't know what they are doing on this river bank of bodies. But Nymeria is basically like, well, time to get the fuck out, and leaves. Yeah. Any idea who these people are or why they're there?
I have no idea. Maybe... I don't know. I didn't really think that deeply into it, because I was just kind of sad.
I know.
About the rest of it.
Yeah, well...
My only thing, though, like, not to be that person, but, like, I didn't know, like, I understand that, like, the water isn't that deep, but, like, picturing wolves in the water, like, that, I fully was just like...
Wolves can swim.
Wolves can swim?
Yeah.
I did not know
Haven't
that.
you seen dogs swimming? Like, dogs can swim, wolves can swim.
I didn't know that.
She literally swims, like it says.
Yeah, but I thought it was just, like, you know, the water's so shallow and she's just so desperate to, like, get to her mom. Like, no, I thought that was, like, a thing she was overcoming.
Following her nose. Like,
yeah, I just kind of ignored that specific line. Okay, I didn't know that dogs could swim. Can you tell?
Isn't there, like, what is it called? Doggy paddle? When you
I didn't
paddle
know
around?
That was because I thought that was just, like, I don't know what I thought that was, but I never...
Because that's how dogs swim.
Oh, I thought yeah, okay. Well, Discovery. That was my only thing that kind of took me out of the scene, because I was like, does this make sense? You know?
Oh, you remind me of this, well, I deleted TikTok, but so I get everything on Instagram now, but like I don't go on it very often. Yeah. But just today or yesterday, I was watching this little kid. I don't remember I think their name's Willow. Play this game of like guess who, but it was animals. Mm-hmm. So like Willow picks up a card and is like, okay, I know what this animal is, and their parent asks them like, oh, is it a bird? Does it swim? And Willow, because like Willow's a toddler. Sorry, I should have specified. Okay. So their parent will be like, does it fly? And Willow's like, does it? So I'm picturing you being like, wolves, does it swim? And you're like, does it?
Honestly, that's me. Anytime, like, I've had multiple instances in my life where, like, I remember this one time in because I'm studying science, so in this one bio class I had to take, the icebreaker on the first day of school was like, oh, there was like a bunch of animals on a page, and it was in alphabetical order, and it was a team bonding exercise. So in your group of 3, you'd take turns in your order, and the first person would circle the alpaca, the second person would circle the bird, the third person would circle the cheetah, and you would go down the alphabet. And there was one animal per letter, but I literally had to get everyone else to help me because I can barely recognize, like, any animals. And, like, I just don't have animal literacy, like, at all. And, like, yeah. And then there was this, like, I've just had soap. And then there was this one time where, like, I was on this, like, game and I had to guess, like, I had to make the sound that the animal would make. But I barely know the animals, let alone the sounds. Like, the only sounds I can give you are, like, oink, purr, bark, like, very basics. Like so basics, you know? So so me not knowing that dogs could swim is very in character, and I identify with that toddler.
Okay, so the next morning, Arya wakes up, and she's kind of gotten this closure, so she's not as grief-stricken anymore. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting there eating breakfast, and the Hound is like about to be like, so about your mother, and Arya's like, it's fine, I know she's dead. I had a dream about her. And the Hound just looks at her for a long time and then just nods, and that's it. That's all they do. So finally they're into the hills, and they find this little village where they need to build like a palisade, like a wall or something. And the Hound's like, I'll do that for you if you feed me and pay me and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And they do. They think Arya is his daughter, but Arya's like, I'm no one's daughter now. I'm no one.
She was only some girl who ran with a dog by day and dreamed of wolves by night. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna cry. Yeah. I hate this book.
Yeah, and the village is like they're fed and sleep well and all those things, but she hates it anyway because she's like, these villagers are cowards. They don't even look the Hound in the face. And also the women try to make me do needlework, and none of them are Lady Smallwood, so I'm not having any of it. I like that.
Oh my god.
But then she's got this girl who's following her around all the time. We don't ever get her name, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But she's around Arya's age. But she's got this doll that she calls Sir Soldier and is talking about how like Sir Soldier keeps me safe and all that. And Arya is trying to get rid of her all the time, but she won't leave her alone. So finally, Arya gets frustrated, takes the doll, rips a hole in it, and pulls out the stuffing to make it look like a real soldier.
This was
and then she throws it into
dark.
a brook, which is like her signature move, you know? Tossing things into water. Ways.
Please, I forgot about that. Yeah, this was an interesting contrast with Arya, 'cause it's like they're the same age, they're both girly pops, but like she's like, oh, Sir Soldier. Meanwhile, she rips up Sir Soldier.
It's just more like, oh yeah, remember Arya the child?
Yeah. It was a very
get it.
I guess it was kind of like a foil character.
This chapter is just like a stab in the heart after another. Like,
yeah, George R. R. Martin's like, yeah, she's alive, but at what cost? I ain't gonna make her life better. Yeah, but the only thing, just like right before that, they were talking about like, basically like the someone in the village was like, oh yeah, like you're like the clan people, like ever since they got back, like they're fearless.
Oh, they talked about that after that.
They talk about it before and after.
Okay. Yeah, basically, the mountain clans, thanks to Tyrion and the Lannisters, are well armed now.
Lovely.
And have been terrorizing the roads and whatever. So
we love that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Lannisters.
They're like, you're probably never going to reach the Eyrie because it's going to be cold and snowy and frosty, and you're going to just starve if you don't get killed. So, yeah, the Hound's like, okay, I guess we won't do that.
No.
And he wants to just hang out and stay there for the whole time. And he's like, I'll defend these people or whatever. But they don't want him because they know exactly who he is. And he's like, well, you might be glad of who I am when, you know, you have attackers. And they talk about how he lost his belly for fighting at the Blackwater and that whole thing. And Arya like really hones in on it and is like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's why he didn't go fight in the twins and like, you know, that whole thing. Yeah. So they head back toward the Riverlands. And now they're making for a river run. And Arya was tired of making for a river run. She had been making for a river run for years, it seemed, without ever getting there. Every time she made for a river run, she ended up someplace worse.
That is so sad.
Like, river run should just exist to be. Like, honestly, just so that Arya can stop making for a river run at this point.
Oh my god. Man. Ugh. And then she's like, maybe we can go to the wall. And he's like, girl, the heck? And she's like, John, you know, like my brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, that is so far. We're going to have to get through the phrase. We're going to have to, like, do you know how far that is? Like, I don't think you know. And also, I have a brother too. So,
yeah, Arya's like, well, you're just afraid. You've lost your belly for fighting. And he's like, I've got plenty of belly. and I don't give a shit about your brother at the wall because I have a brother and he sucks, basically is what he's saying.
Yeah. It's like, buddy, your relationship with your brother is not exactly how most people's relationship goes. Yeah. But
so that's basically the chapter. It was just like oh, hey, she's actually alive. Sorry about that misunderstanding. Also, here's a bunch of sadness.
Yeah, she's still miserable. Yeah, I guess we just continue to see, like, the common... Because we were talking about, like, she kind of gives, like, the commoner perspective because she's with them so often and kind of just traveling. So, yay.
Yeah.
I do like, you know, because all of my things are like, okay, she can see Jon again one day, and they love each other. She can see Sansa again one day. They can get over their whole, like, never having been able to like each other thing because of shared trauma. And she can see Gendry again.
Yeah, so, okay, but all of those, like, require going different places. Where do you think she's actually gonna go?
River Run.
Okay, so they are going to continue going towards River Run.
Yeah.
Will she actually make it this time?
Who's to say?
You are to say.
I think that, unfortunately, probably not.
Okay, so she's going to make for River Run and not make it to River Run.
Yeah.
Love it.
Like, maybe gets caught by a fray, and also,
okay,
with Clegane's being here.
I'm done talking about this.
No. Hey, we gotta get... This is the book series you chose that we should read, okay? Because also, Clegane... I sense another Clegane versus Clegane coming on pretty soon, so Arya might be caught in the crossfire of that, so... Especially with these whole brother comments, too, and with them both kind of being in, like, the Trident-ish area.
Yeah, but they're... No, okay. Yeah, they're kind of in the Trident, but the Trident is...
large?
Vast.
No, I know that, but people that we never thought were going to see each other again have seen each... Like, everyone's been meeting up near the Trident lately. So... Alright.
Well, doom and gloom, lovely.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about next chapters?
Let's do it.
Oh, I guess I should ask you. Is she going to kill the Hound?
No, I don't think so.
Is she going to try to run away?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Yeah, should have asked those. Next chapters. We are reading 2 chapters next time. Give me your hopes and predicaments.
Dany and Sansa.
Wrong and wrong. Next time, we will be reading chapters 66 and 67.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 66 is Tyrion.
Oh, okay, so he's not dead yet.
No. Well, didn't Jaime learn that he was going to be tried?
Oh, wait, yeah. I think I was just joking. I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, so maybe, I think it's his trial.
Okay. Well, will he be found guilty or innocent?
I think innocent. Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. That's optimistic.
Hey,
okay.
alive,
So if he's found
dead.
If he's found innocent, then we're okay. Then we don't have to predict on
is he gonna die?
Yeah, like those things.
I think even if he's found guilty, I don't think he's gonna die. You know what I think's gonna happen? I think it'll end up being, it's just Sansa who's guilty. Like, maybe they figure out, the stone or something. Like, they somehow... And I also think that, because I think what's gonna happen is that the real culprit might not be uncovered. But Jaime and, Tywin might, know that it's not Tyrion. So they might just pin it on Sansa rather than being we're so weak, we couldn't find the real person. So I think it might just all be pinned on Sansa. But then it might be
she's gotten away for now,
but
so
it might just be Tyrion's partly to blame just by association, but he's not guilty. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So his reputation will still just keep going down, but they won't have to kill him.
Right. So instead of being the Kingslayer, he's the Kingslayer's husband.
Sure.
Okay. Chapter 67 is Jaime.
I have no idea what he's up to. I mean, he'd just gotten back last time. Oh, he's been disowned.
Did some questionable things. Had some, yeah.
Did some questionable things. Got disowned, but did some questionable things. Did some good things. Backfired. Got disowned. I guess he'll just be living out his King's Guard leader duties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. I think I'm okay with those predictions, so we will move on to emails.
Yay.
Let me find them. So the emails that we're reading today are actually emails from a while ago, but they got sent to the spam folder, so I didn't see them until recently.
Okay.
But I've been checking spam like occasionally, so there's that. Okay, so the first email that we have is from, I just want to see, from Arya, I think it's pronounced Aya. A-I, no, I-A. It says Arya pronounced like the end of Alyaya. So I think that's how you would say it.
Okay. Oh my god, I've been saying it wrong in my head this entire time, so now I need to adjust it. Okay, cool. When you said that, I was just taken aback because I've been saying it wrong in my head, but
I know.
We'll fix that.
Anyway, she sent this email on August 24th, so we're only like a month and a half late. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's so funny. Okay.
So the email is titled "Fucking Finally," all caps with an exclamation point.
I love that.
Dearest Harmeth and Nuv, I am taking
My
the
name
opportunity.
Is first. Sorry.
I am taking the opportunity to open this email like a Westerosi lady writing to her husband while he's at a war. A girl's gotta take any opportunity she gets.
That's so funny.
Anyway, I started this podcast at the beginning of June, and now I'm finally caught up. I listened to most of it on the beach, so I like to think I took y'all on vacation with me. It really has been a wild ride, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. You guys have an amazing dynamic going on. Also, shout out to Mott's, whose emails always make me die laughing. Well, thanks for taking us on a vacation with you.
Yeah.
That's the only vacation we're ever gonna get. I'm just kidding. We'll go on vacation at some point. Although not together, because we're different types of vacation people, right, Harmeth?
Yeah.
My late thoughts on the Red Wedding. I watched the show first, but my friends had told me about it, so the scene wasn't that hard, and while the book scene was hard to read, I got through it. Ironically, I started sobbing when Harmeth did in that voicemail, though. It was 5 a.m. and I was very emotional. Harmeth, please keep referencing Legally Blonde because I live for it. Nav, please keep torturing Harmeth with vague statements because I, once again, live for it.
Wait, when did I reference Legally Blonde?
Many times.
Really? I love that I do that, but I didn't know that I did that.
You just do it all the time.
Oh.
Okay. I've rambled enough. My question for
that was my musical awakening, so it makes sense. Continue.
I've rambled enough. My question for y'all: if you could live anywhere or be anyone in the Song of Ice and Fire universe, who would you be? Personally, I'd like to be a lady in Highgarden. I'm a Tyrell at heart. Tyrells are the Italians of this world, loud, family-oriented, and all about food. I could get behind the food. Oh, one more question. Which character do y'all relate to the most? Mine is Sansa. Is that why I ship her with problematic men? Do my daddy issues really go that deep? Who knows? Hope you're doing amazing. Aya. Oh, is it Aya or Yaya? Oh, fuck. I never know. Okay, Aya. I'm just going to stick with Aya.
That's so funny. That last part of that email was too real. I think I've said before, I relate to Sansa just because homie is, like, so, like, intensely, like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, and I must do it this way, and that's who I am. And she's also very, kind of, like, extroverted, and, like, she does the whole people thing. Not extroverted, but, like, she's good with people, and she can kind of play the game, you know, that sort of thing. And I think the last statement about shipping her with problematic men is really funny, because I think this is the same person who in the Discord was like, I ship her with Sand. I ship Sand really intensely.
Yeah.
Which I think is so funny.
Aya's note, P.S., by the way. People, join the Discord. I said it that loud because it's all uppercase.
Please. I love that.
It's really, really fun. PPS, my sincerest apologies to Harmouth for participating in the group torture that is this podcast. I'm sending you hugs to make up for it.
Oh, that's so sweet. Anyway, yes, join the Discord. And also, this is one of my, like, favorite people in the Discord. Like, so funny. So entertaining. And I think what also I really love is I'm avoiding the name until we figure out how to say it.
Okay.
That's why I keep saying this person. But, like, this person...
I think it's Aya. I think it can really only be Aya.
Just to make sure. But I'm not saying this person because I'm like, oh, this person. You know, I'm just saying that to avoid saying the name. But, also, this person is constantly bringing up romance in the Discord, which I live for. So, I just needed to point that out.
Someone's a little boy crazy.
No, I'm just a hopeless romantic. Yes, there's a difference.
All right, let's answer these questions. Who would we want to be?
I answered the second one.
Oh, who do I relate to? I think I've said that I'm most like John in my... Well, actually, I've, like, moved out of my...
John phase?
Like, emo phase. Like, I'm not so emo anymore.
As you're
I guess I was just depressed.
Covering your head with a hood. I'm joking.
That's not emo.
I'm just trying to, like...
I just feel like I figured out the right combination of medication to keep me out of emo land.
Yay.
Okay, so who do I relate to?
I don't relate
currently.
To you. No. I never treat me this shitty. Sorry.
I don't know. I think we were talking when I called Asha Yara.
Yeah.
How she's one of my favorites. I think I relate to her not giving a shit. Like, I think she's who I want to be. In that way, I relate to her.
Right.
You know?
That's like what you aspire to be. So you're like, oh, I'm working my way towards
like I don't want to worry about the little things. Like,
yeah.
You know?
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, she's like very self-assured.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think thinking about the one about who
I think that's who I would want to be as well.
Please. That was so empowering. I love that. Who would I want to be? I think, you know, I don't know. I can't think of anything serious, so I'm gonna give a half-joke answer, just because my brain isn't working right now. But part of me would kind of want to be Renly, not to get murdered by a shadow, but just kind of like, because he's kind of like he's the youngest, and he's just kind of like a little aloof, but like also like charming, and like, Sansa was like, wow, he's so pretty. So, like, you know, charming, good looking, and, like, youngest, so I don't have to worry about that much. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm still, like...
Your older sibling trauma is really showing.
It's fine. That's what I'm saying. It's a half-joke answer. So, you know, it's kind of like, I'm, like, the youngest, but I'm still, like, royal. It's kind of like, I feel like in the real world, it's the equivalent of, like, being really good friends with a celebrity, so you kind of get, like, the benefits when you want them, but you don't have to be the one in the spotlight dealing with it too much. I know I'm, like, totally generalizing there, but I'm also generalizing the youngest child experience, so... But yeah, I think my joke answer is Renly. I can't think of a real one right now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Next email is from Lucy. It is titled, Second Try to Send an Email. I think mine got lost in spam. And it did, Lucy. So glad you sent it again.
Hi, Lucy. Thank you for resending.
Hello, Nav and Harmouth. The last few months, maybe end of October, beginning of November, I have been listening to your podcast. So I think this is last year, October, November.
What? Whoa.
But last few months of this email, like initially was probably sent like 6 months ago. And then when I mentioned that I didn't realize they went to spam, they sent it again.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, these last few months, maybe end of October, beginning of November, I have been listening to your podcast. Because I worked quite a few night shifts, I had enough time to listen to all episodes from the very beginning and caught up with you around April. I read the books and just got the Hedge Knight graphic novels for my birthday. Nice.
That's so sweet.
There is nothing more entertaining than listening to Harmouth making hopeful predictions, knowing that a few chapters later, everything will be destroyed.
Oh my god.
The podcast is a great way to remember what is happening, especially because at the moment I have no time to reread due to the upcoming deadline for my master's thesis. Holy shit.
Oh no.
Hope that's going well. I don't know if you're done that or still part of doing it, but that's really exciting. Also, a lot of work, but exciting. In case the 6th book is published anytime soon, I at least know what happened so far. And yes, I believe that you finish book 5 before George R. R. Martin finishes writing book 6.
Oh no.
And sometimes you point out things that happened in the book, which I somehow miss completely, making me question if we read the same books. I miss things all the time. So, yeah, I get it. Now I'm back again at working night shifts and started to listen to the audiobooks when there are no podcasts to listen to. The pronunciation of some of the character names is hilarious. It's even worse than some of the German pronunciations used in the TV show. Some names are changed to a German version, so in my head I have German and English names flowing around, and the audiobook reader's interpretations add to my confusion. Oh no! That's so confusing.
You have like 3 different names for everyone.
Yeah. Because I watched the show in English and listened to the English audiobook, listening to German podcasts where they use the German names becomes harder. By the way, in my opinion, in an ideal A Song of Ice and Fire world, Ned and Ashara Dane get together and marry. I guess that would include the entire Robert's Rebellion not happening, making the books rather boring. But hey, a girl can dream. What would your ideal A Song of Ice and Fire world look like? Basically the opposite of what exactly
I
what
was
it is
gonna
now.
say literally every single thing be different. Like that is such a I can't.
Let's put like all the women in charge and have the Starks together and the Lannisters like split up because they really don't need that family trauma. It just brings out the worst in all of them, you know?
They need a good amount of like separation, and I think it would genuinely be good for them and like make them better people. Like Cersei and Jaime can find other people. It's okay.
Yeah,
they can just have a normal
they had
twin
been
bond.
separated all this time. Cersei found another person, her cousin, for a while there.
Yeah, but maybe if we'd separated
and Jaime kind of found Brienne. Like it's not a romance yet, but you are like really shipping them.
Yeah, but like he hasn't cheated.
Oh, you want him to, like, be like, fuck Cersei, except not.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, that hasn't really happened yet. Like, that's just me projecting a bit. Like, there is obviously, like, things going on there, but, like, me being like, this is gonna happen is definitely projecting. But that's okay. I don't know what point I was trying to make, so I'm gonna stop talking now.
I forget as well, but basically the opposite of whatever the hell is going on right now.
That was the question, yes.
Yeah.
Basically change everything other than, like, don't kill people who are currently alive. Change everything else.
Yeah, and bring back some of the dead and,
change the fundamental way that they rule.
I feel like if Jaime and, like, Catelyn really got to know each other, like, over an extended period of time, they might actually start to like each other.
I think in a different
like,
world,
it would be
still
still kind of like a rivalry, but, like, in a, like, a we respect each other kind of way.
I think so. I think they could be friends.
Yeah. Anyway, Lucy continues, I am looking forward to listening to your podcast during my night shifts because I have caught up with the latest episode. I unfortunately cannot listen to episodes back to back. That's totally fair. You don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. We're just glad that you're listening. And so glad that you resent this because I loved reading it. So, greetings from Germany, Lucy. Hershey, even though I have never had the chocolate.
Thank you, Lucy.
This was great. I'm so glad I checked spam. Okay, so those two had gotten lost in spam, but a new email came in recently.
Ooh.
And it is titled, I am way behind. And it is from Karen. Dear Navid Harmouth, I've only written you once a while ago, and I put off writing you again because I am way behind. You two posted so much this summer. I know, right? So we're probably going to be
proud
like,
of us?
yeah, we're slowing down now because we got other stupid things to do, but like, but now you'll have time to listen and catch up. So anyway, I have no idea how long it will take to get to the episode where you actually read this. Oh well, my favorite book is going by so quickly. To illustrate how far behind I am, I just listened to the episode where you got to admit that Jamie is a favorite character of yours. Finally, no more hiding how much I love that complicated man.
Oh, that's so funny. That was when, that was when something happened and I was like, wait, do I kind of like Jamie? And you were like, yes, everyone does kind of like Jamie. And you could finally speak that out.
I think that's when he had the moment in the bathtub with Brienne where he just is like, this is all my trauma.
Right, yeah. And I was like, he kind of, I like traumatic men. I mean, or traumatized men, not traumatic. Wait.
Traumatizing? You're making it worse. Everything you say.
No. I think you misheard me both times. I said, I like traumatizing men, but then I corrected myself to, I like traumatized men.
Okay, I did mishear.
Yeah,
anyway.
You misheard to, yeah, I know, you misheard, but neither of those were good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah. Only George R. R. Martin could create a world messed up enough that I'm rooting for the man that is in love with his sister and committed attempted murder of a child. Further,
Wow.
I was listening to your thoughts about the...
I didn't even think of it that way.
about the incest of the series and House of the Dragon, and I feel a similar way that sometimes I forget how messed up it is because I'm trapped in the world of the story. With all the other stuff going on, sometimes I think, well, at least Jamie and Cersei are consenting adults. It's reprehensible, but also, like, sometimes it's the least reprehensible thing going on. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
True.
You know what? Fair. Like,
that's kind of what I think,
I
too.
agree.
Where it's like,
yeah.
It's a messed up choice, but it's a choice. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone in the real world, but it's a fictional story. And like you said, they're both consenting adults. But sometimes you do need to take a step back and just be like, this is also, not okay.
Really importantly, I think the fact that there's usually more messed up things going on takes away from the messed upness of this.
That was very well
It's just a fact of the universe kind of thing.
It's like, oh yeah, of course they have that.
Yeah, but that's a good way to put it, Karen. I've looked at the descriptions of future episodes, and it seems you've got to the Red Wedding, so I can talk about this.
I can't funny.
Imagine what you went through, Harmouth. I was completely spoiled for it in both the show and book. I had even seen the whole Red Wedding scene on YouTube years before even watching the show.
What?
Did I tell you how that scene in the show kind of started or like popularized the trend of like reacting to stuff online?
Really? That's what did it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like there were other things, but that was also a big part of it. Like people,
that's so funny because it was so like shell-shocking.
2014, yeah, like that's what was happening on YouTube.
That's so funny because I watched so many reaction things. That's like my whole YouTube life. That's so funny.
Where was I? Okay, let's just say I look forward to that episode. The Red Wedding has only become more emotional to me in time as I have come to appreciate the character of Robb Stark more and more. I used to be ambivalent towards the character, perhaps because he didn't get a POV. I wish he did. But weirdly enough, after becoming a fan of the actor who plays him on the show, both versions of this character have become nearer and dearer to my heart, and going through it does not get easier. Aww. I wonder what Karen will think of your crush on the guy who plays both John, the guys who play John, and the guy who plays Robb.
I don't know if it's a crush. I just think they're both cute.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly why you turned to me every 2 minutes. It was like, he's so hot.
That's not a crush. That's just, I was just shocked. I just was like, wow, they're attractive.
Okay.
I think it would become a crush if I could search them up or watch the next episode or something.
You know what? That's true. Yeah,
it can't become a crush because
sorry.
I don't even remember what they look like anymore. Well, I like have a sense of it, but like, you know?
That's so okay. Maybe somebody needs to put together like a collage for you.
No, can somebody? I would actually cry. Can somebody please do that? And
I feel like Aya is totally the person who would do that.
Okay, can someone please? This is a request out into the universe. Please
Group project for Aya and Mots to put together for you.
That's so funny. No, wait, we should have a channel on Discord that's just like collages and like fan-made stuff. That'd be so fun.
Sure. I mean, that can just be one of our multiple other channels, but...
Yeah, we could make a new channel to do that.
That's all I have to say for now. I'll probably write you again when I get to that episode. Well, looking forward to that, Karen. Sincerely, God. Karen, she, her.
Thank you,
Love
Karen.
that.
Yeah, catch up at your own pace. We'll be excited for whenever you decide to. But in the meantime, you should join the Discord.
Yeah. Okay, those are all the emails we have today. They were wonderful, like always. People, send us more emails. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Instagram at popculturesymposium. Someone is finally getting over their trauma and making some more art again.
Please.
And
Arya's now alive. I have hope in the world again.
And yeah, join the Discord, like Harmut said, as was said multiple times in this episode.
It's okay, we don't talk about it.
We literally do. That's literally what we...
Move on.
Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.